Hi guys! Welcome sa SIP9. In this video ay tutuloy natin yung series natin ng calculus. Sa previous video ay nakita natin yung geometric representations ng left hand and right hand limits. No? So ang tanong ay ano ba yung left hand and right hand limits pagdating na sa function? Kasi ito naman talaga yung paggagamitan natin sa calculus. No? Yung inintroduce ko sa previous video ay yung mga intuitive ideas yon ng right hand and left hand limits. So let's have a function, f of x equals x plus 3. What happens to the value of f as x approaches 1 from the left? And what happens to the value of f of x as x approaches 1 from the right? O siguro bago natin tignan yung numerical values, pwede natin tignan yung graph mismo ng function, no? Okay, so tignan natin itong graph na to. Kita natin that the value of x is equal to negative 1. And yung x na yan ay, ito yan, yung blue point. So kung makikita nyo, yung blue point ay nasa x equals negative 1. Yung f of x naman ay equal to 2. Yun naman yung y value natin. At graphically, nire-represent yan ng red point. So ano nga ulit yung tanong natin? What happens to the value of f of x as x approaches 1 from the left? So ito yung 1, di ba? So ibig sabihin, pag minove ko yung blue point papunta dun sa 1 from the left, no? Ano mangyayari dun sa value ng function? Saan kaya mapupunta yung red point? Tignan natin. Sa tingin nyo, saan pupunta pag malapit na malapit sa 1? Pag x equals 1, f of x equals 4, di ba? So what happens to the value of f of x as x approaches 1 from the left? F of x approaches 4. So dito, f of x approaches 4. Check naman natin what happens to the value of f of x as x approaches 1 from the right. Okay, so tignan natin ulit yung graph. Again, ito yung 1, di ba? And gusto natin malaman what happens as x approaches 1 from the right. Remember, yung blue point natin, yun yung x, di ba? Kasi ito yung value ng x. So what happens if we move the blue point towards 1, and of course this is from the right, saan papunta yung f of x natin sa tingin nyo? Papunta rin siya sa 4, no? So pareho lang. So as x approaches 1 from the right, f of x also approaches 4. And kita natin yun graphically, no? No, pwede rin natin yan makita numerically, no? For example, meron tayong number line at nandito yung 1 natin. Nandito yung 1 and 1/10. Saan kaya yung 1 and 1/100ths? Yung 100th is 1/10 of a tenth. So, mga nandito siya, no? Or maybe closer. So, this is 1 and 100th. At yung 1 and 1,000ths, dito siya. Malapit na malapit. So, pag from the right, ano ang f of x equals x plus 3? Pag ang x natin ay 1 and 1/10. This is 1 and 1/10 plus 3, di ba? So, magiging 4 and 1/10. This one, magiging 4 and 100th. And this one, magiging 4 and 1,000ths. So, ganun din. Makikita nyo, as x approaches 1 from the right, now f of x approaches 4. So this becomes 4 and 1/10. This is 4 and 100th. This is 4 and 1,000ths and so on. Now, pag gagawin din natin yung from the left, makikita nyo later that this is 3 and 9/10ths. This is 3 and 99/100ths. And this is 3 and 99,000ths. Bigay ko na sa inyo as exercise, no? Kasi i-add nyo lang naman yung value ng x sa 3, di ba? And makikita din natin na as x approaches 3 from the left, no? This is from the left. F of x approaches 4. Of course, kita natin na if x equals 1, ang ating f of x ay 4, no? Kung napanood niyo yung previous video, meron tayong napag-usapan na a number that gets closer and closer to another number. So yung idea na to, pwede natin siya isulat as limit, no? So the limit of f of x as x approaches 1 from the left is equal to 4. Again, uulitin ko, no? Habang palapit ng palapit yung x sa 1 from the left, yung value ng f of x natin ay palapit din ng palapit sa 4. So in limits, pwede natin sabihin na the limit of f of x as x approaches 1 from the left is equal to 4. This is also similar when x approaches 1 from the right. So pwede rin natin sabihin na the limit of f of x as x approaches 1 from the right. So yung left, palitan lang natin ng right. And also, 4 din yung ina-approach niya. So the limit of f of x as x approaches 1 from the right is equal to 4. Ito yung mga notations natin. The limit of f of x as x approaches 1 from the left is equal to 4. This is written as, so yung limit, ginawa siyang lim. Andyan yung f of x natin. Yung x approaches 1, yung approaches is the arrow. This is approaches. Tapos yung from the left, yun yung parang superscript, para siyang exponent na kulay red. So is equal to 4. Very similar din yung the limit of f of x as x approaches 1 from the right is equal to 4. Ang pagkakaiba lang nila, yung from the right, yung kanyang superscript ay yung plus. Now, notice that yung f of x natin ay x plus 3, di ba? Ibig sabihin, pwede rin natin palitan yung f of x ng x plus 3. Dito yung f of x, pinalitan natin ng x plus 3, which is the expression of the function. So the limit of x plus 3 as x approaches 1 from the left is equal to 4, tsaka the limit of x plus 3 as x approaches 1 from the right is equal to 4. Now, if the limit approaches from the left, ang tawag natin dyan ay left-hand limit. So this is left-hand limit. And this is the right-hand limit. So the left-hand limit of f of x is equal to 4 and the right-hand limit of f of x is also equal to 4. Na pag pareho yung left-hand limit tsaka right-hand limit, pwede na natin tanggalin itong dalawang ito, no? Yung superscripts niya, indicating galing siya sa left hand tsaka sa right hand, and we can just write the limit, which is the limit of x plus 3 as x approaches 1 is equal to 4. Question: may pagkakataon kaya na hindi pareho yung left hand tsaka right hand limits ng isang function? Yes, no? So dito, for example, meron tayong function na g. Now, what happens to the function as x approaches 4 from the left and from the right? So ito yung 4, no? Ano nangyayari dun sa function as x approaches g from the left? So dito galing. Pag ganun, saan yung ina-approach na value ng g of x? So pag malapit na malapit yung g natin sa 4, malapit na malapit siya sa 1, di ba? So the limit of g of x as x approaches 4 from the left is equal to 1. Pero pag galing siya sa right, dito siya galing, pag malapit na malapit siya dun sa x equals 4, palapit naman siya ng palapit dito sa 2. So the limit of g of x as x approaches 4 from the right, so plus, ito minus, is equal to 2. So, magkaiba yung left-hand limit sa right-hand limit. So pag magkaiba, sasabihin natin, the limit does not exist at x equals 4. So the limit of f of x does not exist at x equals 4. Okay, so practice tayo. Write in limit notation. The limit of f of x as x approaches 3 from the left is equal to negative 1. So the limit of f of x as x approaches 3 from the left, so minus yung ating superscript, is equal to negative 1. What about yung pangalawa? The limit of 2x minus 1 as x approaches negative 7 from the right. So, plus yung ating superscript is equal to negative 15. And last is the limit of x squared plus x plus 9 as x approaches 0 is equal to 9. By the way, minsan ang basa dyan ay muna tong part na to. The limit as x approaches 3 from the left of f of x is equal to negative 1. Pwede naman yun. Sa atin kasi inuna natin tong part na to basahin. The limit of f of x, and then pangalawa ito, as x approaches 3 from the left is equal to negative 1. So pwede naman yun. Pareho lang naman silang tama. Alright, so that's it. Sana nag-enjoy kayo sa ating tutorial. Huwag niyong kalimutang mag-subscribe sa ating channel. Bring your friends and don't forget to click the thumbs up button. I'll see you in the next video.